The peaceful fleet arrived in Earth's skies under a veil of mystery. A collection of vast ships, each a masterpiece of alien engineering, descended silently, their silver hulls gleaming against the blue atmosphere. The ships weren't meant to frighten. They weren't meant to impress. They were simply vessels of peace, emissaries carrying hope. Earth had long reached a critical point of advancement, and this moment marked the beginning of a new chapter, an alliance with beings from the stars. The mission was clear: to establish communication, to share knowledge, and to unite across the cosmos. No one anticipated what would come next. On the day the first contact was made, Ambassador Sira stood before the gathered leaders of Earth. She had traveled millions of miles to deliver a simple message: "We come in peace." Her voice carried through the holographic projection, amplified across the globe. She spoke of unity, progress, and shared knowledge. Her species had witnessed Earth's rapid rise and wanted to be a part of it, offering their technologies, wisdom, and understanding in exchange for Earth's commitment to peaceful coexistence. However, as her words resonated across the globe, there was an undercurrent of skepticism. Could these advanced beings really be here only for peace? Or was there something more? As the alien ships began to touch down in designated areas, cities across the world watched in wonder. The first landing site was in New York City, where Sira's ship set down in Central Park. The city paused, traffic halted, people gathered in awe, uncertain yet hopeful. Sira emerged from the ship, her figure elegant and dignified. Her attire reflected the harmony of her people, smooth, flowing robes of metallic hues, shimmering in the sunlight. The crowd, though cautious, stood in silence as she extended her hand, an invitation of peace. But even as Earth's leaders moved toward her, a whisper of doubt passed through the ranks. Sira's team had come prepared, bringing with them advanced translation technology to bridge the linguistic gap. But something wasn't right. Despite the promises of smooth communication, the words between Earth and the aliens felt strained. The language translation devices faltered, interpreting the ambassador's message in incomplete fragments. Earth's leaders struggled to understand the precise nature of the alien offer, and Sira's words seemed to lose their intended warmth. Misunderstandings began to take root. Some took her words as condescension, others saw them as a subtle threat. The dissonance grew, and the handshake that was supposed to symbolize unity began to feel more like a precarious truce. As the fleet's ships began to settle into orbit above Earth, strange phenomena began to occur. It started with small things: birds flying erratically, electrical devices malfunctioning, and unseasonal weather patterns. A dark cloud formation appeared over the Atlantic, swirling in odd geometric shapes. Scientists and experts scrambled to explain what was happening, but nothing seemed to fit. Then came the tremors. Earthquake-like events, small at first, but the frequency was increasing. The planet itself seemed to be reacting to the presence of the alien fleet. But what did it all mean? Was it an accidental side effect of their arrival? Or was there a deeper connection? The first signs of a deeper disturbance came during the eclipse. The alien fleet hovering above Earth, aligned perfectly with the sun, casting the world into an unnatural darkness. This was no ordinary eclipse. As the light faded, a palpable stillness gripped the planet. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the land, and an eerie silence settled over the cities. People looked up, eyes wide with awe and fear. Was this another sign of the alien power? Or had they inadvertently triggered something much darker? The air grew heavy, as if the Earth itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to unfold. The strange occurrences began to escalate, and soon panic spread like wildfire. News reports flooded in from all corners of the globe, reporting bizarre phenomena. Cities experiencing bizarre electromagnetic disruptions, animals behaving erratically, and power grids failing. Social media exploded with theories and fears. Was this a warning? Or was Earth under attack? Governments scrambled to address the growing chaos, but the mistrust between the alien visitors and Earth's people deepened. What was once hope now felt like a threat. Military forces were mobilized, and people began to take sides. Those who sought cooperation with the aliens and those who believed the extraterrestrial visitors were a danger. It was the beginning of a fracture. What had once been hope quickly turned to despair. In New York, as the military prepared for an uncertain confrontation, an unknown energy pulse struck. A wave of power, invisible yet deadly, slammed into the city's infrastructure, causing buildings to collapse as if they were made of paper. Traffic lights and communication towers exploded in blinding flashes. Panic turned to chaos. The alien fleet above remained eerily still, seemingly unperturbed by the destruction below. As the dust settled, a new realization dawned on Earth's leaders. The alien force wasn't just here to communicate. There were deeper forces at play, forces that had already begun to act. Syra's team had uncovered the truth. The pulse that had struck Earth was not an accident, nor was it an act of aggression. It was a warning, one triggered by Earth's reckless use of energy technology. Syra's people had come to study, to guide Earth's people, but they had inadvertently disturbed something much older. The balance of energy in the galaxy had been upset by Earth's rapid technological growth. This ancient energy was what the fleet was designed to protect. The eclipse had been a signal, a cosmic alarm bell that had now gone off. Earth's energy reserves were far too potent and unstable to be allowed to grow unchecked. What seemed like a peaceful mission had, in fact, been an intervention, and it was already too late for Earth. It became clear that the alien fleet was not alone in its mission. Syra's race was but one of many that had been monitoring Earth for centuries, each representing a different facet of a vast, interconnected cosmic order. These beings were not invaders, but guardians, tasked with ensuring balance across the galaxy. They had watched as Earth's technology advanced rapidly, far too rapidly, considering the natural order of things. This was not a simple misunderstanding. Earth had unwittingly triggered a cosmic imbalance, and now it was up to the galaxy's oldest races to decide if Earth's species could be allowed to survive this error. Syra and her team uncovered a disturbing truth. Earth's technological advancements had not only disturbed the balance of energy, but it also caught the attention of forces much older than her people. There were factions, ancient galactic coalitions who had long worked to maintain equilibrium in the universe. These factions had been at war for millennia, but their conflict had always remained hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Earth's sudden rise in technological prowess had tipped the scales, and now, the hidden war was spilling out into the open. Syra's people were simply one faction, and their arrival was not as benevolent as Earth had hoped. In fact, their peace mission was a desperate attempt to prevent a much larger, more destructive war from ravaging the planet. As Earth's leaders struggled to contain the panic, factions within humanity began to fracture. Some urged for surrender, offering their cities and resources in exchange for protection. Others called for open resistance. But it was already too late. The ancient forces began their assault, swift and brutal. Cities that were once symbols of civilization were now reduced to rubble. The world's greatest metropolises fell one after another, wiped from existence in the blink of an eye. The remaining survivors scattered into the wilderness, and the once proud civilizations of Earth became nothing more than whispers on the wind. What remained was a devastated world, one that had already been marked for its mistakes. The alien fleet's communications technology, once a beacon of hope, began to malfunction. Syra's team had no way of reaching their allies. The intricate systems of holograms and interstellar signals were being disrupted by the chaotic energy pulses now ravaging the planet. It was as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. Syra and her team frantically tried to restore their connection to the fleet, but each attempt only resulted in more failures. The messages they sent were either lost or distorted beyond recognition. In their desperation, Syra realized the unthinkable. Their enemies were deliberately blocking all signals, severing them from the help they so desperately needed. The galaxy had turned its back on Earth, and the planet was left to fend for itself. With Earth cities falling, Governments collapsing and communication systems in disarray, humanity's descent into chaos accelerated. Groups of survivors banded together, forming new factions. Some chose to fight, others to negotiate, but none could stop the planet's spiral into madness. Resources were scarce, and the technology that had once defined human progress was now rendered useless. Desperation took hold as the world fell into anarchy. The once vibrant human civilization now resembled a fractured primitive society. The hope of a peaceful future had turned into the grim reality of survival. Syra watched, helpless, as the planet she had come to protect unraveled before her eyes. Above Earth, the alien fleet remained unmoving, as if suspended in time. Despite the planet's chaos, the fleet showed no sign of advancing. It wasn't that the aliens were indifferent to Earth's suffering. They were waiting. The alien factions were waiting for a response from Earth's surviving leaders. Would they choose to surrender? Would they choose to fight to the last? The ships in the sky were not there to conquer. They were there to observe, to ensure that the balance was maintained. And if Earth failed the test, the consequences would be catastrophic. A deep silence hung over the planet, the eerie stillness of impending judgment. Syra and a small group of human survivors sought refuge in an underground facility that had been designed long before the arrival of the alien fleet. This place, once a secret research station, held the key to Earth's survival. Deep within its walls were vast energy resources, ancient technology left behind by a long-forgotten race. The survivors, led by Syra, believed they could harness this power to restore balance to the planet and prevent the galaxy's ancient factions from taking further action. But as they ventured deeper into the facility, they realized that the technology was not meant to be used. It was a containment system, designed to imprison the energy they had hoped to use. Syra and the survivors soon discovered a sealed archive within the facility, an ancient recording that detailed the pact made between the galactic factions. Earth's rise in energy technology was no accident. The factions had been watching, waiting, for a species capable of reaching this level of power. But such power came with consequences. The pact had been designed to prevent any one species from upsetting the delicate balance of the galaxy's energy fields. And now, Earth had done just that. The factions had no choice but to intervene. The peace Syra had once promised was no longer possible. The intervention was not one of choice. It was a necessity for the survival of the galaxy. As the alien factions began their systematic suppression of Earth's remaining infrastructure, a rebellion formed. Led by a charismatic human leader, this group fought back with all they had, sabotaging alien supply lines, attempting to destroy their technology, and rallying the remnants of humanity. But the rebellion was fragmented. Some factions wanted peace at any cost, while others believed total resistance was the only path. Lyra, torn between her allegiance to her people and the desperate survivors of Earth, tried to broker a peace, but the damage was done. Earth's fate was sealed. The survivors had a single choice: to fight or to surrender. And with the stakes so high, neither side could find common ground. As the rebellion gained momentum, Syra found herself in an impossible position. She had learned the full truth. Her people were not the sole arbiters of the galaxy's fate. There were older, more powerful factions at play, and the decisions made by Earth's survivors would influence the course of galactic history. Some of Earth's leaders called for a full surrender, others for a desperate final push. Lyra struggled to maintain neutrality, but the fractures in humanity's leadership were too great. The power to decide Earth's future had shifted from the hands of its leaders to the survivors, those who had witnessed the planet's descent into chaos and knew that only one choice remained: to fight, no matter the cost. Syra's position became increasingly precarious. Her original mission, to foster peace between Earth and the stars, was unraveling. The human rebellion, now growing stronger, had shifted from resistance to outright insurgency, and Syra's people were caught in the middle. A fragile alliance had once existed between her race and humanity, but now it was splintering. The rebellion saw her as a traitor, someone too aligned with the alien factions that had already brought devastation to Earth. Meanwhile, Syra's own people began to question her loyalty, wondering if she was still committed to preserving the peace they had once hoped for. The diplomatic channels had closed, leaving only a path of conflict. The weight of broken promises hung over her every decision. As Earth's surface became increasingly hostile, the battlefield shifted from cities to the underground, where humanity's last holdouts fought to survive. The remnants of civilization hid in subterranean bunkers, struggling to outlast the relentless alien assault. The survivors' only advantage was the knowledge of their terrain, the labyrinth of tunnels, old military bases, and hidden vaults beneath the Earth. But the alien factions had adapted quickly. They no longer simply descended from the sky. They infiltrated the very ground beneath them, sending robotic scouts and subversive technologies deep into Earth's crust. Each day felt like a countdown to extinction. Yet even in these dire conditions, a small spark of hope flickered. Humanity's resourcefulness. They would not go quietly. It was the discovery of an ancient artifact, buried beneath the ruins of a forgotten city, that would change everything. The artifact was unlike anything the humans or aliens had ever seen. Its surface was inscribed with strange symbols, not from any known species, and it pulsed with a strange, unnatural energy. Syra and a small team of rebels had found it, and its potential was both terrifying and incredible. This artifact had been left behind long ago, possibly by the same ancient beings who had created the galactic balance, but now, it seemed to be reacting to the alien energy waves permeating the planet. Was this the key to saving Earth, or would using it risk unraveling the last vestiges of the universe's stability? Syra's team had unlocked the artifact's secrets, but the knowledge it contained was forbidden. It revealed a truth so shocking that it nearly fractured the minds of those who read it. The artifact wasn't just a tool of energy. It was a device capable of altering the fundamental laws of space-time. It could either stabilize or shatter the galaxy's energy balance, creating chaos across entire star systems. The alien factions had always known of its existence, and that's why they had come to Earth. They had to ensure the artifact remained buried, hidden from any species that could misuse it. But now, the survivors had found it, and in their desperation, they were preparing to activate it. This could either be humanity's salvation or its final undoing. As the decision to activate the artifact loomed, Syra faced a heartbreaking betrayal. One of her closest allies, a human leader, had secretly struck a deal with the alien factions. In exchange for their survival, he had promised them the artifact. This leader believed that Earth could not survive on its own, and that only by aligning with the galactic powers could humanity endure. The truth came to light when Syra uncovered secret communications between the leader and the alien emissaries. She felt torn. Was this a pragmatic decision, or was it a betrayal of everything she had fought for? Earth's future was now in the hands of people who were willing to sacrifice their freedom for survival. Syra now stood at a crossroads, torn between saving the people she had come to care for and protecting the galaxy from further destruction. The artifact could change everything, but it was a gamble. It could stabilize Earth's energy reserves, ensuring survival, or it could collapse the fabric of space-time, triggering a chain reaction that would devastate not just Earth, but entire star systems. Humanity's last hope now lay in the hands of one decision: activate the artifact and trust in the unknown, or destroy it and risk losing everything. As Syra stood before the glowing artifact, a final question haunted her mind. Could humanity learn to control this power, or would it be too much for them? Despite Syra's best efforts, the artifact was activated, perhaps by accident, perhaps out of desperation. Immediately, the energy it released ripped through the planet, sending shockwaves across the globe. Cities that had remained standing crumbled into dust as the fabric of reality itself began to tear. The planet shook violently, as if it were being torn apart. The alien factions above Earth scrambled to contain the damage, But their efforts were futile. Earth's core began to destabilize, and time itself warped around the planet. What was once a hope for salvation had become the harbinger of Earth's final destruction. The survivors, now scattered and helpless, could do nothing but watch as their world disintegrated. In the final moments, as Earth's cities fell and the planet itself seemed to unravel, Syra sent a last transmission, a plea to the galactic factions, to the universe itself, and to the survivors of Earth. Her voice crackled with static as she spoke, the words barely coherent through the distortion. We came in peace, but it was already too late. The message broadcasted to the stars, carrying with it the last hope of humanity. Syra's transmission would be heard across galaxies, not as a plea for help, but as a testament to the failure of a peaceful mission. Earth's fate had been sealed. When the dust settled and the shockwaves of Earth's collapse finally dissipated, silence descended over the once vibrant planet. The alien fleet, now dispersed, remained silent in orbit. The galaxy had witnessed Earth's fall, but no one spoke. The factions that had once governed the balance of energy throughout the stars watched from a distance, knowing the price of their inaction. Earth's final chapter had been written in fire, and now it was no more. The silence was profound, for even the stars seemed to dim in the wake of Earth's destruction. Years, centuries, millennia passed, and Earth became a forgotten memory in the galaxy. Its story was told in hushed tones, a cautionary tale of ambition unchecked and a peace that came too late. The remnants of Earth's once great civilization scattered across the cosmos, its culture preserved only in fragments of data and the occasional artifact. Those who remembered Earth's rise and fall whispered of its legacy, not as a failed species, but in the farthest reaches of the galaxy, life continued. New civilizations rose, others fell, and the cycle of the universe remained constant. The story of Earth, now part of the collective memory of the galaxy, faded into myth. Yet somewhere in the distant future, a new species, unbeknownst to them, would rise and stumble upon the same fate that had once befallen Earth. The galaxy, vast and unknowable, had seen it all before. And so, the cycle would begin again.